season finale.
Possibly two-parter. We'll see how it
Crime
goes.
stuff.
It might not actually end up that much
Could
longer
split
than
it
the
into
others.
2 parts.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Alright, so this is
Dragon in here.
one that you will probably at least know the basics of.
Mm-hmm.
There's no mystery here, there's no unsolved nature to this one. It's just considered one of
Fucked up
the
crime stories.
worst criminal murders in Australian history.
Ivan Milat.
No.
Backpacker murders.
Same murders.
Damn it.
Wolf Creek.
Yeah, Wolf Creek.
This is a story of the first woman in Australia to ever receive life in prison without parole.
Holy shit. Here we go.
Damn!
This-
You know how I've been picking on ladies every episode this season?
Now they're picking...
You've done this to me.
And now they're picking on Chris.
They're about to.
So this is the story of Katherine Knight.
Ooh.
To go with Thomas Day from previous episodes.
Shit.
Day and night.
Her crime is considered to be one of the most heinous in Australian history.
Anus.
But let's get to know her a little bit first.
Rightio, let's do it.
So, before she was even born, her family was embroiled in a bit of a scandal.
We're going a long way back.
So yeah, this is... So she was born in 1955.
That's fucking... Granddad was alive.
Not that
Granddad was
long
alive for a
ago.
few of these, but...
The 1898 one.
Whoops.
It's been around a long time.
He has been around for a long time.
You can say that he was like
Yeah.
420 years after that one.
In the
So,
Then the 1928 one. Then the 1898 one.
1898.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
He was definitely around for old mate shoot himself in the head, and that was on the news to him.
it's like, holy shit!
Well, I mean,
Would've been
every time I
20-ish.
talk to Granddad, he tells me how poor he was. He
Yeah.
probably didn't have a TV.
I know.
Back to the stories.
No, so a guy's arm gets coughed up after a shark. Everyone knows about that
Everybody's
shit.
gonna hear
So,
it. I'll ask you.
Barbara Rowan
Mm-hmm.
was cheated on her husband Jack with his friend Ken Knight. Fuck, I love the alliteration. It's like Stan Lee wrote this story. This saw Barbara and Ken leave their homes in Aberdeen to move to Moree together.
Is it fucking Aberdeen?
Aberdeen.
That's not far from here.
No, it's not.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, there are a few places to come up, Chris, and there's one that you will know very well.
Oh, fuck.
So, they moved to Moree together. Together they had 4 children, including twin daughters, the younger of whom was Katherine. That was in 1955.
Alright. And that's the lady that we're following.
Yep. Ken was a violent alcoholic who would use force and intimidation to get sex from Barbara, up to 10 times a day.
Holy fucking shit.
Yep. Who in turn...
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
You'd be shooting
Like,
fucking dust by
to
the
be
end of
really,
that.
like, wanting that much sex. Like, I can't wank 10 times a day without
I won't
fucking
even try.
feeling like my dick's
My-
gonna
my
rip off.
wiener would
Like,
fall off.
Yeah.
That'd be,
Yeah,
that'd
it's
be
not gonna
fucking
happen.
Scabs and blood and
Ugh.
it would just be like...
it all burns. If you like. If you like. So
Dust.
she would then openly share this information and the most intimate details of it with her daughters. While
Why?
she also expressed hatred for sex and men.
Well, yeah. I can see
see
that.
why. that?
This is one of those things where you're like, I totally get it. There is a damn legitimate reason for this.
Don't tell your daughters though.
No.
Yeah, I'll probably keep that on the DL.
So Catherine...
Telling the police.
Catherine herself claims that she was sexually assaulted by several family members, not her father, however, up until she was about 11 years old.
That's fucked up.
And this has been... The people who've investigated kind of went, she sort of dodged a little bit of the details, but for the most part it seems like this is probably true.
Okay.
So it's like, yeah, she's elaborated on a couple of details. Yeah. Aside from a twin sister, the only other person she was really close to was her uncle Oscar, who was a champion horseman.
Champion horseman.
Champion horseman.
Didn't say horse rider.
No,
Horseman.
Horseman.
Who's a fucking centaur?
Half horse, half man.
Well, it caused her a great pain when she was 14 and he killed himself.
Oh, that'll fucking do it.
Yeah,
So she hasn't had a great life so far.
No.
I mean, horses don't live forever.
No.
And horseman, I can only assume, lives even less.
Yeah.
To this day, she claims his ghost still visits her.
That's fucked. To this day,
To this day.
Oh,
She's
fuck,
still
'cause
alive.
she's like, yeah, she was born in 1955. She's definitely still alive.
She's like 70 something. I'm pretty sure she's still alive in prison.
yeah, 100%.
That same year, her family moved back to Aberdeen and she started at Musselbrook High School.
Fucking Musselbrook.
Musselbrook
High school? Then how do you go to a school?
Yeah.
I guess she hasn't murdered anyone yet.
I used to work in Musselbrook, man. We're getting too close to home.
Oh, we get closer to home,
Oh,
Chris.
fucking Jesus.
At school, she was often a model student. She actually had really good grades and was actually well behaved.
Mm-hmm.
However, she was also prone to violent rage
Yeah.
She was
and
one
would
of those
bully
quiet
weaker
kids.
students.
She wasn't one of those quiet kids.
She was fairly quiet though, but then she
Until
was
she
bully
bullied
the fuck out of
Every
people.
time she spoke, it was to make fun of the quiet kids.
Yeah.
Nerds!
So she left school at 15 and had barely any reading or writing skills at that point.
How the fuck do you give that many years of school and not learn how to read or
I
write?
was gonna say she was a grade A student.
Yeah, she was pretty good, but she didn't know how to read or
Just
write.
don't got the thinking capacity up here.
No.
She just
It was not
memorized...
a grade
that-
A. She was
that-
just a decent enough.
But she just memorized a lot of words.
This is also in 1960 something.
She doesn't know how to read, but she knows a lot of
Yeah.
words.
Yeah, so she left school and got a job as a cutter in a clothing factory.
Yeah.
But then a year later, she
That was
left
a-
it.
Because that was a career back then.
Yeah.
Cutter in a clothing factory.
When you have a cutter. Alright?
I cut clothes.
Well,
Oh.
she left after a year for her dream job
Sweet.
Ooh.
at an abattoir,
Oh.
cutting up offal.
What the fuck is an awful?
That's the little
Guts
leftover
and stuff.
shit.
Yeah, it's
That was
all
her
the,
dream job.
bits of
Ever
meat
since she
stuff.
was a little girl, she was like,
You know what I want to do?
Cut offal.
I want to cut up pieces of little animals.
She was
Big
quickly promoted in that job
yeah, well, if you like what you're doing.
and was given her own butcher knives.
Oh. This
Ah.
is heading in a good place.
Yeah.
She always, every place she lived in up until she ended up in prison, kept those knives above her bed.
Good place for
And because, so that they, and I quote, would always be handy if I needed them.
Yes, that's where I keep my knives.
Mhm.
On my bed.
The most
so if
handy
I need
place
them-
where you're going to need knives is your bedroom.
Yeah, above your bed.
Not to
Yeah.
mention that, if they rustle in the middle of the night and a bunch of knives fall on you.
That was
Let alone
interesting.
butcher's knives,
Yeah.
sharp as heck.
So it was at work at the abattoir that she met David Kellett, who would commented on how she would always jump in to protect him physically. Apparently, anytime someone sort of badmouthed him, she would be right up, ready to fist fight for him.
Like how,
And he
yeah, it
kind
was
of
like...
appreciated
Bunch
that.
of fucking knives.
Physically.
Yeah, she was
What
like,
was his
"Fuck
name?
you."
David something?
David Kellett.
It's like, hey, David, fuck you, man. And
He was
she's
like-
just like, I fucking kill you, man. I
Fucking-
kill
Apparently
you.
she
Karen's
was
there, a
like-
couple knives, let's fucking go!
Apparently, one of her favorite things to do was to challenge people to duels.
What the fuck's that?
Of course it
weird?
was!
Just hitting people with gloves and
It's
shit.
like 1970 something, wasn't it?
It's like 1960. Well, yeah, 1970 something.
She's like, how dare you, good sir?
Because she was born in 1955. At 15, she left school. So that's 1970 there.
Worked for a year, she was
Yeah.
1971, got promoted, so
Yeah.
it's like 1972,
At
1973.
least, yeah. At the
Cool.
very least.
Alright, sweet, so both my parents were alive at this point.
Yeah. So they got married, and on their wedding night, she attempted to strangle him because he would only have sex with her 3 times, and then try to fall asleep.
Once again.
I guess up until then, her only reference point is, hey, dad fucks 10 times a night, so...
Yeah.
10 times he would.
So you might have messed with her head a little bit on what
You think?
the expectation should have been.
She's like, only 3 times? And he's just like, fucking woman, get off me. It's been
Like,
3
oh,
times,
that's-
I'm tired.
I'm done,
We've had
man.
a
Right.
big day.
Yeah. Got married?
I'm knackered. Just let me sleep. Working before that, because I can't have a fucking day off.
Well, apparently the 3 times were enough because they had a daughter.
Okay.
But married life wasn't great for David. As a
It's
late
for David.
as a late return from the home from the darts competition, he
The
found
darts competition.
a darts competition.
Capital T-H-E. The darts competition.
the one.
The big one.
game.
The big Come back from the big one.
The big one. He found that his clothes were burned, and she whacked him over the head with a frying pan.
Got it.
He then left for Queensland with another woman,
Fuck you.
Which-
Going to the Gold Coast.
which Catherine didn't take well.
You don't say.
No. Keeps knives over a bed.
It led to her...
Bed.
Their bed.
Yeah. She was found, the next day, walking down the street with the baby in the pram, kind of just being really kind of aggressive with the pram.
Mm-hmm.
She was kind of checked in for a little bit of help, then got out, then took the baby out again, left the baby on some train tracks,
Okay.
then took an axe,
Mm-hmm.
went into town and started threatening people.
The baby died, I'm assuming.
No.
What?
So the baby has a lucky story where there was a man in town known as Old Ted who managed to save the baby mere minutes before a train came through.
Good work, old
Mere
Ted.
minutes.
Old Ted is a fucking legend.
He's a
By mere
champ.
minutes, I'm picturing like 7. There was plenty of time. He just went like,
Well,
oh,
apparently-
baby. And then when he was pushing it home, you could hear rumblings of a train like
was like,
7 minutes down the road. And he's just like, I saved this baby mere minutes.
Fucking
before the train
insane.
is.
Well, apparently other people said it was
I'm a
mere
goddamn
minutes.
hero.
And apparently she
If other people were
appeared
there,
to-
why didn't they help the baby?
Well, they I don't know.
Old Ted's on the case.
But it seemed
Fucking
like,
awesome story.
yeah, she appeared to leave the baby deliberately because she knew a train was coming in.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
Fucking psycho.
So days later, after all this, where she didn't somehow end up in too much trouble with the axe and the baby,
Somehow.
she would carjack a woman with intent of tracking down David to kill him, as well as the woman he went with, and also the mechanic that fixed his car that allowed him to leave.
Makes sense. Yeah.
What a poor fucking dude. He's like, I'm just doing my fucking job.
Fix the car
So-
for $1.50. I fixed your car,
For $1.50.
and now you gotta kill
We're in
me.
the fucking 70s
So
or 80s or
70
something, aren't we?
prices.
We're not
No,
back in the
70
1800s anymore.
$20.
A shilling 10.
Um,
10 coppers is
Two-
what I...
£2 bob.
Yeah. So I think it's better because then, better. So then they had to stop in at a gas station.
So she killed a guy.
So the woman took a run for it,
Yeah.
and the police turned up. So she took a boy hostage, a
Okay,
kid,
as you do.
and they managed to stop her, and she got sent to Morisset Psychiatric Hospital.
Holy fuck.
The
Wait a minute.
same one.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Bert. We've explored that psychiatric
Yeah.
hospital
You
at
know
night.
the woman's section?
Yes.
She was in there.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's fucking
Because
hits
it was
home.
open in the 70s.
This hits home. We've been there.
Yeah.
We've fucking been there at night, in the creepiest part of night. Have you been there?
No,
We
I
need to-
don't want
we
to
need to
go.
take
Fucking
you.
hate it.
It's
I
fucking
think it's all
amazing.
crumbling now, isn't
I
it?
think
Is
it's
it all
pretty
fallen
fucking
over?
A lot of it.
I'm glad.
It's fucking haunting when you walk up because you're just in the middle of the bush. There's nothing else around. You're just on a dirt track, trees everywhere. Then all of a sudden, all the trees open up and it's just a fucking fence, like
It's
a
not-
huge,
it's a wall.
big wall. Like
It's a
big
fortress.
fucking-
Yeah.
It's
And you're just like, what the fuck? And you follow it all the way around. There's a big entrance, and you
It's,
go.
yeah.
And there's just like buildings,
Buildings.
buildings,
and it was like
a
a
fucking pool
pool. Yeah, that was the
with
dead
a
kangaroo.
dead kangaroo in it. Last time
I
we
mean,
were
he's
there.
not always there, but there's also
Nice.
the awesome bit where there's like the main building. I think it was the first one we went in, where like there's a floor was just gone and we could have died.
Yeah.
You go around and there's like some walling and there's a garden in the middle of it that you can just wander into and it's fucked.
We went there at night.
Nah, the
No.
first
Twice.
time.
Twice.
Yeah. The first time we're like, we probably should have gone a day first.
It was when I first got my new car and I fucked up the bumper bar.
Yeah, that was funny because it was like trying to get
It's
him
like,
up.
check
over
out
the-
my new car, and then we went fucking bush bashing, and we're like,
Go,
here's
go.
fucking thing, like, and my bumper just went.
So it was pretty funny because it was trying to
Mark
get me
is
up a gully. So we found some bags of concrete that were nearby and bits of wood, and we're like, you can make it up this. And he went and it slid and went punk, and we're like, and he was like, what was that? And Mark's like, it was nothing.
Don't worry about it.
Pump.
Pushed it back up.
And we're like, it's
Like, my
fine.
new car!
It was fine. We got there. It was fine.
My bumper hasn't fallen off since.
No.
That screw's still missing, but that didn't change. We got on a tangent.
Yeah. So cut back in.
The Morissette story, that could be a separate episode.
No, we found where it was.
She was at Morisset.
Yep, there we go. It was back at Musselbrook then. So she would end up having other relationships after the first husband. I guess she divorced. Because I'm pretty sure she married at least once.
I mean, she tried to murder the guy, and I'm assuming she's like, fuck it, Queensland's really far away.
Dude, I can't get in her hand.
Well, she did only try that one time. And then she went to a mental hospital.
Commitment's not great.
No.
Yeah.
Fucking hate this dude.
She-
I'm not
she-
driving all the way to Queensland.
So one man that she went with, she wanted to make sure essentially the previous incident didn't happen again, and
I
was
don't like
like,
where this is going.
I don't want you to cheat on me. And to show you what will happen, here's your dingo pup. Slice the throat. Right in front of him.
Okay, so she killed his dog.
Yep. 2-month-old? 2-year-old? Some one of the
Two,
pretty small and young.
pup would be 2 months.
Yeah, so
That's-
maybe 2 months.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's some fucked up shit right there.
Mm.
You can kill kids and
Yeah. And then she
rape women with iron bars and like then that last one, but
What
you
happened?
kill a fucking dog.
Yeah.
What happened
It's
to
one
her
thing-
baby?
It's with old Ted now.
Old Ted's got himself a kid.
That's essentially it. 'Cause
It's old Ted and baby.
they never really talked about the kid. I think her name was like Marie or something.
She's with old Ted now.
She's full
That's
line.
awesome.
She was
Old
just
Ted
fine.
got himself a
Yeah.
kid.
The guy whose dog got killed also got stabbed in the gut with scissors. So.
Oh.
He's glad
And
like
in
that
a
didn't
surprise
happen.
twist, she managed to get an AVO out against him.
What the fuck?
Yeah, she claims she was scared for her life.
She killed his dog.
And that he like
stabbed him.
tried to rape their daughter or her daughter or something.
What, the one she
Maybe
the
from
one
the
she left on the
previous
train tracks?
With old
Maybe.
Ted.
Yeah. It's kind of
Fucking
weird.
old Ted haven't done that shit.
No,
Um,
fucking good dad.
Eventually, she would end up with. Okay, I'm not sure if it pictures now. So yeah, this is Katherine Knight.
Yeah, she did it.
She looks
She actually
like
reminds me of
knows.
someone I knew.
She did it for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, and she eventually ended up with John Price.
Oh, poor Jono. Look at Jono.
Wait. Paul Jono or...
He was pretty poor John.
Alright, Paul
It was a well-liked man with 3 children.
Okay,
To an ex-wife.
it's not like, oh, Paul Jono. It's like, and then she met Jono. They went on a killing spree.
Yeah, no.
And Jono fucking
like it.
stabbed her in the head.
This
with
isn't
him.
one of those, where I have a twist with Jono, really.
What a twist.
There's a twist, but not a bad twist. But yeah, he had 3 children to an ex-wife, one of which lived with the ex-wife, 2 lived with him.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a little, like, surprising. Normally it'd be, like, the other way around, I would have felt, but apparently, like, it was good enough, and maybe she only wanted 1 kid.
Yeah.
Not sure on the situation. But yeah, they met together, and she moved in with him in 1995.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been things
You know,
happening over time. I mean,
we were alive now.
yeah, she was in Morissette for a while, I guess, and a couple. She also, I believe, ended up in a different insane institution twice around that same period. Can't remember if it was before or after. I think the dog incident might have led to one.
Yeah.
Not sure though. But apparently, yeah, she was well liked by his kids. She got on well with them.
They obviously didn't hear the stories.
Yeah.
Throw up that picture of her again, Bert, on here,
Yeah.
so you can. Exactly what I pictured when you started describing her and all the stories.
Yeah.
Her face
Yeah.
is exactly what I pictured.
It's what you kind of expect. So she wanted to marry him. He refused. He wasn't ready because it wasn't that long after. So she got him fired from his job.
As you do.
She basically went around and took photos of items and then sent them to his boss going, he stole these. There was stuff that he'd fished out of the trash. Because they were like emptied like medical things and stuff like that.
Where did Jono work?
Fuck, I can't even remember now. But he worked there for like 17 years.
It was a medical facility or something.
Something like that. It was like not
At
like
the nut
a
house that
hospital,
she was
but-
in.
That's where they met.
What a twist.
What a beautiful. It's like Joker and Harley Quinn,
Yeah,
but
except,
reversed.
yeah. She's the fucking crazy one.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both crazy.
That's true. The relationship ended for several months at that point.
For
and
several months.
Then they got back together.
He
but
was unharmed for several months.
he refused to let her move back in with him.
As you would.
He
Yeah.
was just like, you
And
did get me
no.
fired from my really nice job.
Yeah.
I'll
Been
still-
there 17 years. Like, I was almost double long service, you know.
Yeah.
I'll still slip pickle with you on the sly, but I you ain't staying at my house
They
now.
were-
I'll still
For a
slip
while.
pickle.
Did you like that?
I do like that. Fucking 10 times a night.
Slip and pickle.
But yeah, so
Pickle's gonna be a fucking poor little gherkin by the end of this.
I'm slipping
That's the
gherkin
thing,
at
like,
the end.
if she expected the first husband 3 times, like she must have expected still a fair amount from everyone else.
Maybe Jono was given the goods.
Might have been good.
Get,
So,
get that good pickle.
in February of 2000,
That fucking dad dick.
Wow.
trouble led to several assaults upon Price, leading to her stabbing him in the chest.
Every one of these fucking stories has ended with her stabbing him.
He kicked her out and attempted to get a restraining order.
Got a fucking scissors in his chest. He's like, get out of here! Shoot!
Fuck off!
I don't want you in my house no more. You stabbed me.
That night at work, or that day at work, he expressed to co-workers his fear that she would kill him. And they went, don't go home. And he went, my children are at home. I'm worried she'll kill them too. So he went home.
I think I know where this is going.
On February 29th,
I think I know where this is going.
he came home to find Katherine had sent his children for a sleepover at a friend's place. But she was nowhere to be seen. She just like turned up, sent them away.
You guys can go stay at John's house.
Yeah.
I mean, not Jono. John.
John,
Their friend
yeah,
John.
different
John
John.
knows your dad.
Little
Yeah.
John.
Little John.
Yeah, yeah.
But The bear from the animated one. He spent the evening with neighbours, with the neighbour, or away neighbour that he was friends with.
Neighbours. He spent the evening watching TV.
Yeah.
Before going home to bed. Catherine arrived that night. She basically, from what they could tell, she got home, turned up, so she must have still had a key, even though he wouldn't let her move in with him.
Mm-hmm.
Watched TV for a few minutes, had a shower,
Okay.
then went in and woke him up, and they had sex. Then he went back to sleep.
And that was the last time Jono ever saw daylight.
It was at some point during his sleep,
At least he busted one out before he went.
some point while he slept, she stabbed him with a butcher's knife,
So that
which woke him up.
That'd do it.
As it would, yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on where you get stabbed, I guess.
He tried to turn on the light. He might have succeeded in turning on the light. I'm not sure. Then he tried to escape. Well, she gave chase. He managed to make it out the front door. At which point he either fumbled and fell backwards in, or she managed to grab him and drag him back in.
Picture him in the lawn.
They discovered that he had been stabbed 37 times.
That's a lot of stabbing.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stabbing.
Fuck, she loves stabbing, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Practice my stabbing.
So hours later, she skinned him, hung the skin in the lounge room from a meat hook.
This was where I thought it was going. This is who I think it is.
She then decapitated him and cut up and cooked parts of his body, along with baked potato, pumpkin, beetroot, zucchini,
You gotta have a
cabbage,
You gotta have balanced diet.
yellow squash, and gravy.
Yellow.
I mean, take away the human part of the thing. That sounds like something my nan would make.
I mean, I'm not too keen on the beetroot, to be honest.
Like, beetroot.
I get rid of the beetroot and have a bit more human in there.
Yeah, you put a bit more leg.
Yeah.
A little bit of thigh meat.
So when the police arrived,
Yeah, but white meat.
who were alerted by the neighbour he spent the evening with, because he was supposed to work today and his car's still in the driveway.
Yeah.
And I did see her go in and stab the shit out of him. Heard him screaming.
There's claw marks
In the
on
front lawn.
step.
Well, so he was like, I'm going to go check on him. Went around, went to the front door and went, that's blood.
Nah.
I'm a call the
fam.
police.
I'm going to get the cops. So he called the cops. They came in and found her comatose from overdosing on pills.
She tried to kill herself.
There were 2 meals at the table with name cards for each of his children.
That's fucked up.
And they found a 3rd meal was thrown on the back lawn, leading the speculation she'd tried to eat it and decided she didn't like it. So chucked it out.
Yep.
Those taste like people meat. You can't eat people meat. Doesn't matter how much squash and gravy you put in there.
Yep.
Squash gravy and beetroot.
There's another fucking shirt for you. No matter how much people meat.
They found his head in a pot with vegetables.
Yeah, that's
Making
the
some
story.
soup.
This is the part I didn't know about the story. She'd also arranged the remains of the rest of his body so that he sat cross-legged on the floor with his left arm draped around a 1.25 litre soft drink bottle.
Is it Coke?
Possibly. They didn't say, because I feel like whoever owned was the company.
No, don't you dare put our name on that.
Didn't want that association.
Hashtag not spawn.
Not anymore.
He's fucking because his head's missing. Because it's in the pot.
He's got no skin.
He's got no skin.
Yeah, that's hanging on the hook.
Would have cut other meat off for the rest of the...
Yeah, so at least the right arm and maybe
something else is gone. And the rest of him is sitting cross-legged with his left arm around a bottle of...
drink. 1.25 litres too.
1.25 for the Coke.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's just straddling it like that with no head.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. So, yeah, they went, she probably did it.
She probably did it.
We're not sure. We don't have all the facts yet.
Catherine was given several psychiatric assessments that suggested
she's fucked.
They suggested she suffered from amnesia,
This one's broke.
dissociative disorder, and borderline personality disorder, although very few of them were willing to say that she was not sane.
She was fully aware of what she was doing.
She agreed to a plea, though no reason was ever given, but she still refuses to accept responsibility for her actions.
Nah, man. Well, me. I wasn't
Katherine Knight.
I wasn't even there.
What you talking about? I didn't even know people meet.
It was Patricia.
I didn't even know.
Because that was actually the meal thrown in the backyard was their evidence that she actually was not in control of her actions during it. that
She kind of snapped in halfway through and went, "Ah!"
yeah,
and threw the fucking
basically
people meat in the
was
backyard.
like she was eating and then went, oh god, and
What the
then
fuck am I doing?
maybe that's why she tried to overdose on pills.
And then went back inside and saw the rest and went, oh, that's right. That's what I was doing.
Ah, yes.
Gonna kill myself. Give me them pills.
No, not them pills. And yeah, so she's been in prison ever since. They did try to get her out once. They claimed that
Who's they?
her and her lawyers.
They tried to get her out.
They tried to get her
They
out
tried to
by
get her out.
claiming that life in prison without parole was too severe for the crime.
Of murdering, flaying, trying to kill her baby, having multiple ADOs on people,
Cannibalism.
and trying to feed a father to his children.
Yeah, it's too strange.
Nah, fam. They should have, like, did we ever have, well, yeah, we had definitely.
Back in the day, mate.
They should have brought that shit back.
Just for her.
Just for her.
Yeah. Flay her, cook her up,
And then,
and
eye
then-
for an eye, I
yeah,
say.
that's it.
Feed it to all the other prisoners.
Feed her to a bunch of dingoes.
Feed it to all
Well, yeah,
of them.
that's-
Just for them throwbacks.
Yeah, I suppose that's cruel to the prisoners.
Yeah, the Soylent Greenest people.
Yeah. But yeah, like fucking. Yeah, that's Katherine Knight. So yeah, that's like considered one of the worst cases in Australian history.
It's pretty intense.
Fuck that bitch.
Yeah. So
And it was close to home.
I know a lot of those like details about the crime, although some of them, like I always was told that she drugged him and skinned him alive, and also that she made a coat out of the skin. They were the two things
I heard the
always
first
remembered.
one, but I also heard that like the kids actually came home and that's
Yeah.
one of them got away and told the police, but she tried to make him sit down and eat.
Yeah. See, I think
And
I
Dad's
vaguely
head was in the
remember
middle of
that
the
too.
pot, like in the middle of the table.
Yeah.
Urban legends.
But yeah, it's weird how that sort of stuff twigs, and yeah, all the rest of the stuff about her life, never knew. And literally going through it going, feel like someone should have picked up on this earlier. Like, apparently, Price knew about her history. She didn't keep any of it secret. He knew all of it and went, she gets along with the kids.
I like your flaws and all. She gets along with the kids, and to be fair, she didn't hurt the kids.
Yeah.
She,
Well, no, man, that's
right.
the big point in her fact. The only kid she tried to hurt was that one daughter. Like,
That
two
was
months old.
hers. She left for old Ted.
No.
Old Ted's got that kid now.
Old Ted.
Old Ted got that kid.
Old Ted, look what I
Yeah,
found!
I'm not sure if, she ended up getting to keep the kid, and that was the one that she accused the other guy of trying to rape.
Oh, goodness, I hope.
Because from what I understand, like, that kid was still not with her when she killed Price. So, there's like, it was a little hard to get specific timeline facts on certain details. Because I imagine, like, people aren't detailing every single part of her life, every point. Because no one went, oh, she's totally going to murder someone one day. We've got to keep track of everything she does. Just.
Except for the one who's like, I like knives, and I'm 15, I leave school, I want to kill animals.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
my
this-
dream job.
And then this dude is like, yeah, man, no, she killed my dog, so I moved to Queensland,
And
but
she stabbed
she's
me with
cool.
scissors, and then I moved to Queensland.
Yeah. Wow. He found
She
a
stabbed me
woman
up the nose
first.
with scissors. Oh, will you fucking get away from that crazy?
Yeah, apparently
Put your
he
dick
was
in
just
crazy.
like,
Don't
I've
put
had
your
a-
dick in crazy.
She was very obsessive.
You think?
Yes, yeah, her the
Okay, but wait.
description of her. There was also another guy she dated. I believe she stabbed or hit with a pot as well. There was like she had like 4 relationships.
Now
Each
this-
of them got hurt.
This chick looks like she eats people for sure.
Yeah.
Cooks them, skins them,
Yeah.
wears their skin.
She has that weird like in between too normal and too crazy. She's
Definitely.
got that like weird mix of both going on.
100%. Too crazy.
I did see. I wish I'd print off, but there were like pictures of her like older, and, like in
Now?
prison and stuff. Yeah, I believe she is still alive. But I'm not 100%.
Yeah, like 55, she's, I don't know, I'm
Get on the
fucking...
internet.
Nah, man.
I don't want to know.
I ain't looking this shit up.
You might find more than I found.
Nah, I'm good.
Tell you what, one thing I love is that every case I looked up, there was a fucking junkie article of like 15 really messed up things you didn't know about this murder, and I'm like, what could be worse? that
Oh wow,
Thank you.
that's worse.
was pretty much it.
But it's like, okay, well, here's all my facts.
Yeah. That's where I learned about the incest and the farmy one.
Fuck all that shit.
Yeah.
Like, all that shit, just fuck
Yeah,
it.
there's nothing.
was a-
10 times in your wedding night.
That was it. The thing that I've taken away from that is women expect too much from men.
That's it.
Just
Damn.
alone. Just
Not a
once
piece of meat,
or
alright?
Twice
Yeah.
maybe, and then
Like-
let me go to sleep.
Like,
Yeah, need sleep.
Literally, I'm not a piece of meat has never been more
Literally.
relevant than, like...
We have a refractory
Jono?
period.
Yeah, than Jono.
You gotta let us refractory back into having sex again. We like sex. We don't like too much sex.
I mean, talk about yourself, mate. I'm No, that's not for me.
Your refractory period's like a second. You're like, all right.
No, I'm none of that sex shit.
Not at all.
Keep it for you.
You keep that poontang away from me.
That's it, mate.
What are you doing with that? What are you doing with that? Get that away from
That's
me.
the devil's handbag. That's what they call it.
Handbag. The old wizard sleeve. Idle hands and all that.
That's it. Make sure to check out some of our videos.
That was the season finale.
Season finale of our
crime stuff.
Crime stuff.
And then we'll either go back into paranormal unless someone comes up with an idea for something else.
Might check out something else.
That's it.
See what happens.
Playlist for the entire thing will be linked on one side. Click the button over here to subscribe. It's like right here. There's a button to subscribe.
I haven't done that
playlist
yet. Well, we got
there.
one more episode and then I'll
And description. There's stuff down there.
Look at it.
Hey! Thanks for watching.
Yeah.